Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for checking us out. Today we are getting into the first episode of a brand new franchise mode, and that's pretty exciting for me because we did try with the Texas Rangers, didn't get too far into it. I thought things were going pretty well, but you know, with the pretty delayed absence, had to start over, and I think we're going to go in also the AL West. We're going to take on the Seattle Mariners. We're going to try it out. This team has a lot of issues, but I think we can correct them. They haven't made the playoffs since 2001, so that will be goal number 1. So bear with me here as we get through the settings and whatnot. We're going to go ahead with that. GM contracts are going to be off because we know we're going to put this team on the right track. We don't need the owner to be making any rash decisions on us. I think everything else is good to go. We are going to manually set those coaching tasks. Scouting, I'm going to leave it as auto-managed because, you know, we're going to put the best guys we can in place, and then obviously if things go badly and we draft poorly, well, you know, those schmucks can hit the road, and we're going to hire better people who can do the job better. So I'm going to leave it up to them, and we're going to see how they do. So we are also going to manually manage those general manager tasks, and I think we are ready to go. We are going to get going at the regular season. Just in year 1, we will go through that. In years after this, we'll kind of go through a more in-depth spring training, but for now, we are just going to get right into it. Let's take a look at the roster by position. So we have the Big Maple, James Paxton, who's actually just recently traded to the New York Yankees. So again, we're a year behind real life here, but he is a free agent after year 3, so maybe we keep him until he, you know, matures a little bit. He's 29. I guess he's not going to, you know, grow as a player that much, but we can definitely keep him around. I feel like he'll be pretty good until his 30s, so keep him around, and then if depending on the team's performance, we can trade him from then. Then we got Mike Leake, might be a trade candidate for this year as well. We got him for another 3 years, and he's going to be a purely innings eater for us. We do not care if he's trotting out a 5 ERA. He is going to eat innings for us, and he is going to do a good job of it. Marco Gonzalez is the guy we're kind of taking a flyer on. Not that great. He's a lefty, 26-year-old, and again, he has that B potential, but I think he's a pretty trash player, so we'll have to see. He'll be in the Major League rotation for now until we get a better option. And then we got the King, Felix himself, 78 overall, 31 years old, and take a look at his contract. He's only in this game 4.4 mil. I'm not sure why it's not crazy like it is in real life, but we have a couple more years of control with him, and I think he has earned the right to, you know, if we're really bad, we'll take it into consideration and see if we can get this guy to a contender, or if he wants to stay, he's going to stay. It's going to be the same situation like Beltre last year. We're going to ask him where he wants to go, and if he decides he wants to go, then we're going to trade him. But if not, he is staying and retiring in Mariner. So our 5th spot is pretty well looking like Wade LeBlanc or a free agent, hint hint. Wade LeBlanc is a 33-year-old lefty as well, 75 overall. Nothing special again, but I feel like he's got a pretty wonky delivery, and I think he can miss some bats. So he'll definitely probably, that was a contradiction, he will be in the bullpen to start the year, probably in a long man relief role. So if he can slot into the rotation when need be, I'm happy with that. And in terms of prospects, we don't have much. We got Max Vos there, 24-year-old. Not expecting him to do very good, you know, and grow much past that. Maybe 75 overall is a good, you know, spot to put him at. But then we got another B potential in Logan Gilbert, the 20-year-old, 20 flat. So he could be a pretty good prospect as well for us. He's got that good stamina, good velocity. Who knows, right? So besides that, nothing really. Sam Carlson, not likely to be anything good, and we got a whole bunch of C's. So it's looking pretty dire. We definitely don't have that one guy that'll make a difference for the next 6 years, but you know, it is pretty tough on this. What I'm trying to say is it's going to be very, very difficult to rebuild this rotation, because if we're going to compete, we're going to need the guys on our team, right? And we're going to probably need upgrades. And number one, I don't see any prospects that we could likely get rid of for a good, package of players. But also, if we're not contending, it's almost be a down to the bones tear down, because again, if Max Bose is your best pitching prospect, you were doing things wrong, right? So in relievers, it does get pretty good. We have a very strong bullpen in Alex Colome and Nick Vincent, Zach Duke, Juan Yasco, Adam Warren, Erasmo Ramirez, Ryan Cook, Sammy T, James Pazos, and that's pretty well where it stops. We got a couple more guys in David Phelps and Justin Grimm, but those will probably be extra hands for this year. But you can kind of see how deep it is. It's not exceptional. It's just very, very deep and very, very solid. So I'll call him obviously our best closer. That is not Edwin Diaz. We'll talk about him in a little bit, but I think this is definitely our strength going into the year. Aside from our bats are pretty lively, but I think where our pitching rotation kind of falls off, I think these guys can kind of make up for it. So I'm very interested to see how we're able to kind of structure that bullpen and construct it in a way that can kind of mask our problems as a team and maybe squeak into a wild card. It's hopeful for sure, but I think with this team, at least for the first year, I think we can make a run at wild card, depending on how we were doing at the All-Star break. So Edwin Diaz is our 24-year-old, 87 overall, a potential closer, and he is going to be on this team for the foreseeable future. K per 9 at 99 and hits per 9 at 99, velocity 94. This guy is an absolute stud, and we are going to be paying him dog shit for the next 5 years. So if we're bad for 3 years, that doesn't matter necessarily, because we can keep him on this team and then just grow around him, as we already got that closer locked up. But then again, saves do start to get expensive, and why do we have a good closer if we're a bad team? So definitely a lot of moving pieces and parts that could figure out and things that could make the wheels fall off. So it's going to be very exciting to see how things are going in this franchise. Dan Altavilla is another prospect-y type player, 25-year-old, B potential 70 overall. Maybe he can be a depth reliever or a setup man in the future. Maybe. We'll have to see. Mike Zunino, backed up by David Freitas, Chris Herman, one of these guys probably on the roster, depending on who we see in free agency. I'm gonna take a look down, though. I would like to get a backup to Mike Zunino to hopefully help push him and maybe even take over the starting role if need be. I definitely do not want this guy on my team long term. His power is wonderful. I'm okay with him hitting 30 home runs a year, but that 210 average, 195 average is just no good. He's a poor man's catcher version of Joey Gallo, and I don't like hitting with him, and I don't like his stats. This was a good year, 25 home runs, but the rest, 207, 174, 199, 214, just no good, right? So I would prefer to get a young catcher in there, but again, for maybe this year, we're going to have to focus on it in the draft, maybe even some trades, but we need a catcher to take over Mike Zunino's role. So again, same thing as before, a lot of moving parts. If he comes out of the gates doing amazing, then obviously we're going to keep him, because we do have a couple years of control. So it'll be a very, very wait-and-see approach. We also got Ryan Healy, the 26-year-old, 6'5", tall, B potential third baseman and first baseman. We're probably going to have him at first base throughout this franchise. He's a pretty good hitter. I do expect him to hit, about 270 and then around what he did in 2017. So pretty happy with him. Got him on a good contract, lots of control. And in terms of bad contracts, we do have Robinson Cano. Fortunately, he's not making that money, I don't think. I'll have to double check him on Cots, but I think he's making way more than 10 mil. But aside from that, the year 6 is a little bit concerning. Let's see what year he's in of his contract, and he's in year 1. So that is going to get more expensive, and I doubt he will be better than he is now in years further. I would maybe give him to 37, 38, just like Beltre, but past that, I don't see this guy being productive, and it's going to be very, very tough to move his contract. So that's definitely one of the things I'll be thinking about now, if we want to trade him when he's really still good, or if we want to kind of wait and squeeze the life out of this lemon. So I'm almost leaning towards trading him right now, getting a young guy in right now, but again, we'll probably wait till the All-Star break to see how we will do. And then we have Kyle Seager, another kind of sore spot in this lineup. He is under 4 years of control, 4.4. That's pretty standard and pretty safe for him as well. So he's going to be solid for us, but again, I don't want him as part of my future. I do think he strikes out a little bit too much, and being only 80 overall with a C potential, that's pretty well his upper limit. So again, I would like to make an upgrade over him. John Segura, I would prefer to keep. We do have him locked up for quite a long time. He's only 28 years old. B potential, 86 overall. So I think that he can be a really, really good player down the stretch. And, you know, he is being floated in trade rumors, but I think in this universe, I am going to take care of him and keep on holding him if he performs, and that's going to be the deciding factor. Andrew Romine will probably get some looks at the major league level just due to his versatility. He can play everywhere, and we probably won't get him to pitch, but he can. So Denard Span and Ben Gamel are going to be fighting it out for playing time this year. Denard Span's going to be taking the right-handed side of the platoon with his contact way up there at 76, and Ben Gamel obviously is going to fill out the other side of the platoon on the weak side against lefties. But for future plans, I would prefer Ben Gamel playing in Denard Span's spot, but as a courtesy to the veteran, we are going to give him that front side of the platoon until he proves that he cannot handle it. So, on to center fielders. I haven't made my mind up about D. Gordon yet. I do like his speed, but he is pretty one-dimensional in terms of that. Good contact, low power. It's hard to want a player with 4 home runs. I'd rather have a 30-bag stealer with 15 home runs, right? So, haven't decided what I want to do with him. What's his contract like? 3 years. And nope, I did something wrong there. Center fielders. 1 of 3. Okay. So we have a little bit of time to make our decision up, but then I don't see him being a part of the future and the club that I ideally want to create. I think this was pretty well a gut move by Dipoto. So again, he could stick, but I'm very leaning towards a full teardown of this franchise. I'm kind of hoping they'll be bad. Obviously, it would be more exciting if they go to the playoffs this year, but for the sake of the franchise and the future of the franchise, it's better if we tank. We're so in between, it's ridiculous. We also got Cameron Maven on the roster. He'll likely make the Major League Club this year in a backup role, maybe 4th or even 5th outfielder with Ben Gamel. And Guillermo Heredia is going to make an impact, but he's not going to make much of an impact. Kyle Lewis is probably our best prospect in this system. 22-year-old, 64 overall outfielder. Does have pretty shitty numbers, not going to lie. But he is, B potential, so I hope that he can get up there at some point. Brandon Bishop, also a pretty good prospect. Pretty similar to Bishop in terms of development. Does have a little bit lower stats in terms of hitting and power, but again, we don't have that guy that'll be the Mike Trout, be the Bryce Harper, be the Manny Machado. We don't have that guy. We don't even have close to that guy in right field. Likely as our everyday DH is Nelson Cruz. I would like to limit his innings probably to 50% of what he had last year in the field, although him playing the outfield does open up a lot of potential for rest for other guys. They can take breaks and so on and so forth, but almost every day Nelson Cruz will be our everyday DH. This is his contract year, so he'll be looking to have a good year as well. We will be watching very, very carefully to see if he declines any. He's still got really, really good power numbers, but 37 is a little bit of a concern, right? But if he's not signed next year and we don't have a better alternative, he might be our guy. So that's something we can definitely look forward to. Mitch Haniger is a part of our future. He is 27 years old, 83 overall. We hope that he can get up to 87, 88 with his B potential. He has really, really good stats. So I hope. And then Julio Rodriguez, 18 years old, 57 overall. Not going to make an immediate impact, that's for sure. And that is the MLB roster. Before we get into free agency, let's take out of some schmucks, release them. I'm thinking Chris Herman. Yeah, I don't think you have a spot on this team, pal. Where's Elias? Oh, this is the MLB roster. Oh, shit. I want to just be dropping from this. That's okay. Those guys were not going to make a difference irregardless. So now we can head over to free agency. Where is it? There it is. So we're going to be going after the Japanese import Kodai Senga. We already know how popular Japanese players are in Seattle, so we are going to give this guy the best position for success, and we're going to sign him to a 1-year, $110K deal. Obviously, his Japanese team posted him, and he's going to be fighting it out with Wade LeBlanc to see who can get in the lineup on a consistent basis. Then we are also going to go after Bruce Rondon, a little bit of a head case, which is concerning in the slightest, but obviously it's one of those plays where you just got to look at the arm, and if the arm plays, the arm plays. We're going to give him 1.5 mil per year on a tryout sort of basis. If he doesn't go anywhere, we're going to release him at the end of his 2-year contract or even trade him, but for now, he is on this team. Yosmil Pinto as well. We are going to give him a 2-year deal. If you look at his stats, not a great hitter, pretty decent in the field, so we're going to bring him on B potential, 28-year-old, and see if he can push Mike Zunino just a little bit. We don't need him to be a hero. We don't need him to start even most of the games, but we just need him to be competent and just add a little bit of questioning to Zunino's approach every day and make him understand that he might lose his job. So this is basically how the structure of the series is going to work out. We're going to play 3 games in a row, 1 full series at the top of the month and at the bottom of the month. So what's likely going to happen is we're going to play this Cleveland series, including opening day versus Corey Kluber. Then we're going to hop down and play probably, I don't want to play Cleveland again, so probably Chicago or Texas, depending on how I see that month playing out. And then we're going to continue that trend with one of these series, Oakland or LA, and then back down to probably, Oakland's down here, so we're probably going to play LA up here. So we're going to rip through it pretty quickly. A lot of gameplay episodes for you guys coming your way, and I hope that you enjoy it. I'm going to have a lot of fun. I'm going to dive pretty deep, so sometimes these episodes are going to be pretty slow. I want to kind of be very curious with this franchise and see how guys are doing. So if you guys like it, definitely check out episode 2. It's going to be coming your way soon, and I hope that this will be the team to get us to the playoffs in the first time since 2001. Let's break that streak. I think we can. Guys, if you have any burning questions, if you want to have any input in the way this franchise goes down, definitely leave it below. What should we do with Robinson Cano, Nelson Cruz, James Paxton even? Do we trade these guys right away, or do we try and go for it this year? I don't know. I'll have to think about it, guys, but if you know, please let me know in the comments down below. I'll catch you later.